be it a lord, be it a god. But should ye fail to become aught at all, ye will be forsaken, amounting only to sacrifices.
Elden Ring has been out for about 19 months and many of you have experienced the whole game with different builds and dived into the New Game Plus or even many New Game Pluses, and now you are eagerly waiting for an expansion to this already huge game to let you explore the game's world even further, know more about its lore, fight new bosses and try new armors and pieces of equipment. Today I want to talk about Shadow of the Erdtree, its theories, rumors, the release date, and what I expect to be in this DLC. With Armored Core being released, I think now it is Shadow of the Erdtree's turn to be brought up and talked about. It is surely one of the most anticipated releases for the fans, as history suggests FromSoft never disappoints with DLC for the Soulsborne games. So, if you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, it would be great if you tell me in the comments what you think or what you want to be in the DLC. Let's dive in. Shadow of the Erdtree was announced in February, but FromSoft has been silent about it since then, which makes sense as we are somehow in the middle of Armored Core PR cycle and they want all eyes to be on that. Unfortunately, per the financial report from Kadokawa Corporation, the owner of From Software, Elden Ring's DLC is not expected to launch before March 31, 2024. That means Shadow of the Erdtree won't be around at the Elden Ring's second anniversary. I was hoping to hear about it or maybe a trailer at the Tokyo Game Show, but we got nothing. So the next event would be possible to show a trailer or something is the Game Awards on December 8th. Leaks and rumors claim that FromSoft initially wanted to release a couple of expansions and even offer Game Pass, but they changed their mind and decided to put multiple DLC episodes worth of content in Shadow of the Erdtree. I expect this DLC to be similar to Bloodborne: The Old Hunters in terms of the scope of content, offering a large new area to explore, new bosses, numerous weapons and armor, new enemies, and rich story content. FromSoft has a long history of making amazing packages in their expansions, including fascinating lore dives. So we are right to be excited about this. I think it adds a new area as big as Limgrave and it gives us at least 20 hours of gameplay. Let's take a look at the only piece of artwork we have. First of all, it looks like nothing we have seen so far in the lands between, and it looks to be a totally new area or it is completely changed compared to what we saw in the main game. This means time has passed since then or the Elden Ring events are yet to come to this area. I think there can be three speculations here. If we assume the tree in the artwork is the Erdtree, it looks much smaller than the one in the main game, which means it is either in the early or late stages of its life. Although some people believe the glowing Erdtree we see all over the lands between is just an illusion, like the Godfrey we fought for the first time, and the real Erdtree is the one we see in this artwork. In the first speculation, the DLC would be set in the past, like Artorias of the Abyss and the Old Hunters, which led the players to return to those worlds to uncover the old times. Also, if the expansion is a prequel, it might be possible to see how the tree was made and how the giants were defeated in the battle that led to the destruction of the fire giants and their fell god. Could we visit the mountaintops of the giants in the past and take part in that conflict, killing the fell god for real? Could we be sent back to the Night of Black Knives, which resulted in the Shattering? The story may tell us the very beginning of the Erdtree and the Golden Order, showing us a young America that we are not familiar with. Personally, I really like the DLC to highlight Miquella's activities before the Elden Ring's events. I mean, before being in the cocoon, we know when the Golden Order couldn't save Melania, he searched elsewhere and tried to cure his sister of the accursed rot. This struggle is also reflected in his strong interest in unalloyed gold. Thanks to the in-game description, we know it can ward away the meddling of the outer gods and might be able to cure the rotting sickness. That doesn't necessarily mean this has to be a prequel, but the tragic lore of the twin demigods is undeniably convincing to be present in the expansion. The second speculation about the time of the events of the DLC is that it is happening after the main game. Back to the artwork, if we look closely, an interpretation would be there are two trees in the background, not just one. The second tree appears to be a parasitic plant wrapping itself around the other tree. This could be Miquella's Tree or the Prince of Death's Deathroot. When we visited the Tree, we could easily see it was not healthy and the branches were infested with scarlet rot, just like the plants in Kaleid. Miquella had some plans to reverse the blight. He created the Tree, and by using the cocoon he was trying to get to adulthood and then use a big needle to kill the Erdtree's roots. This is similar to what some people do by using copper nails. The copper goes inside the tree and disrupts the water and the nutrients movement, which eventually makes the tree die. Miquella wanted to kill the Erdtree and give Godwyn the Golden a true death. The item description of the Golden Epitaph says, "Oh brother, Lord brother, please die a true death." Maybe this was after his attempts to restore Godwyn's soul by the Eclipse. We can confirm this by a ghost NPC in Castle Sol. It says, "Lord Miquella, forgive me, the sun has not been swallowed. Our prayers were lacking. Your comrade remains soulless. I will never set my eyes upon it now. Your divine Tree." But what if this is not the Tree and only a Deathroot twisted into the mix? Godwyn's body seems to be placed right below the Erdtree and it may have finally corrupted it. It is possible that the Prince of Death appears in the DLC either in his actual demigod form or the dead monster that we saw in the Deeproot Depths. For the last speculation, just forget about the time. Shadow of the Erdtree's events may happen in a dream. In the main game, we never found a chance to meet Miquella in person, and he remained unbothered in his dreaming stasis. It is totally possible that Miquella's dreams will serve as our playground. Data miners Sakura Doobie and Lance McDonald have discovered the cut content about the dreams. Dream mist could have been used to send you into the dreams of sleeping enemies. In the cut content, an NPC asks the Tarnished to get dream mist for him. To obtain it, the player must enter other NPC's dreams. In addition, it is strongly hinted and discussed that Saint Trina, the god of slumber, is Miquella himself. So the expansion could have you exploring dreams through Miquella. These dreams can show you things from the past, future, or even alternate realities. Personally, I like the last speculation. What about you? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. The Shadow of the Erdtree concept art shows someone riding Torrent, or at least an animal, in close relation. The person is presumably Miquella or Marika, but regardless of the identity of this person, I'm eager to know more about Torrent, our trusty mount, why and how it got there. Our spectral steed doesn't get a detailed background, but we know the horse chooses to accompany the Tarnished. Also, from the main game, we know Ronnie and Melina are familiar with it. Melina, in her first dialogue, says,
"Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all." One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring.
Then, after introducing herself, she tells you,
"Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect."
Ronnie talks about Torrent's former master.
"As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee by Torrent's former master."
Ronnie mentions Torrent more couple of times, and still we don't know who the Torrent's former master is. There is no concrete evidence to say this is the same person as Ronnie's mentor, the Snow Witch, or even Melina. Besides knowing more about Torrent's background, it would be welcome to be able to level up Torrent's stats, just like how we upgrade our character. Imagine how fun it would be if you could let it have more FP or jump higher. Traditionally, Soulsborne DLCs have included some of the hardest challenges within its respective games. Artorias from Dark Souls, Sister Frieda or Slave Nightingale from Dark Souls 3 and the Orphan of Kos from Bloodborne were by far some of the most difficult bosses in their games. The game creators expect that you already know how to defeat the enemies, so they give you the wildest challenges and hope you can survive. I'm looking forward to fighting a boss harder than Millennia in Shadow of the Erdtree. Mikola the Unalloyed is said to be the most powerful demigod of all. He's slumbering in his cocoon to become powerful enough to lift the curses. He will probably be very unhappy when he wakes up to find that the Tarnished has risen as the new Elden Lord and slaughtered his whole family including Millennia. This makes Mikola the main villain of the DLC. The next demigod I wish I could fight is Godwyn the Golden, especially in his death-blighted form. Although if we could get a chance to take on him in both forms, it would be more than welcome. I hope he somehow gets animated again. Maybe Mikola finds a way to reverse the death and death or send us into a dream that we can meet Godwyn. In Bloodborne, the moon presence was the resemblance of a great one, the beings that can be equivalent to outer gods. In Elden Ring, we fought the Elden Beast that was acting as the vessel of the greater will. Imagine if we could fight more resemblances or vessels of other outer gods as well. Or what if we could fight an actual outer god, for example Formless Mother or God of Twinbird or Frenzied Flame. In addition to the new bosses, it will be nice to see some of the current game bosses come back in a stronger version. Some of them projected this in their final words like Rykard and Godric, or even a cut dialogue of Millennia implies it. So this expectation is not too far-fetched, but in terms of how many bosses we can expect to find within Shadow of the Erdtree, I expect to have 3 to 5 main bosses. Also, I believe there would be a fair amount of mini bosses. Some may be new and some may be the ones we have already seen. Speaking of bosses, Elden Ring lacks one of the coolest things Sekiro had. Boss Rush mode lets you fight bosses you have already beaten in your playthrough. This can be done at any time you want. I think it would be amazing to have this mode in Elden Ring. Dark Souls 2 might be the least favorite title of the Soulsborne series by some fans, but it got a couple of unique mechanics that enhance the player's experience. To be more precise, I'm talking about the New Game Plus here. After our first journey, little will change, including that enemies get stronger and drop more souls or runes upon defeat. Whereas in Dark Souls 2, things were quite different. I expect Shadow of the Erdtree to increase the number of enemies in each place, bosses or enemies to drop different items, different location for the items and enemies, and different mechanics and moves for the main bosses after the first journey. This list can go on. I mean, nowadays mods like Randomizer bring a whole new experience to the game, which makes it even more enjoyable to be in the lands between. I think it would be too much to ask FromSoft to add some randomizer mods to the official game, but changing things in the New Game Plus will surely increase the chance that more players try some new journeys. In the end, don't forget, these were all speculations and expectations, and I might have been too wrong. It makes me happy to know what you think about this anticipated expansion. Have fun, I will meet you in the next one.